the wife tried to get intimate with her husband, only to be coldly pushed away. She brushed it off, thinking maybe he was just in a bad mood. But soon, she began to notice a change. The man who used to cling to her every day, constantly texting her and sharing every little detail of his life, now barely spoke to her. Even in bed, he kept his distance. Confused and worried, she planned something special, a romantic candlelit dinner and a fireworks display. But just as the evening was about to begin, someone unexpectedly barged in. It was her husband's old college roommate, also her childhood friend. He grinned and asked, "So, what do you think of the restaurant, the flowers, the candles, all my recommendations?" The husband was stunned. He couldn't believe this night, what he thought was an intimate moment between him and his wife, had been arranged by her old friend. Years ago, he had fallen in love with her at first sight. But back then, she was nothing more than a silent admirer, always following behind that same roommate. She once endured punishment from her family just to support him. She had even torn up love letters from other guys just to stay loyal. But that roommate? He was always chasing thrills. The last thing he wanted was a good girl like her. Maybe he noticed how the husband looked at her. Maybe that's why, just to get her off his back, he played matchmaker and pushed the two of them together. Eventually, the woman and the man started dating. On their second anniversary, she proposed. He remembered thinking in that moment, "I'm the luckiest man in the world." Their married life was simple but full of warmth. The man believed this happiness would last forever, until one day, the roommate showed up again. Without hesitation, he said, "After all these years, I've realized she's the one for me. You should let her go." The man was shocked and disgusted. He refused, but the roommate made a deal. "If she chooses me over you 9 times, then you'll know she was never really yours." The man, trusting the love they'd built over 9 years, reluctantly agreed. But reality hit him harder than he expected. Over and over, she chose the roommate. On their wedding anniversary, they had plans to watch a meteor shower together, but one text from the roommate, and she left the man sitting there alone. When he was hospitalized, she didn't come. The roommate had a work issue, and she prioritized him instead. She even missed his grandmother's funeral because she had dinner plans with the roommate. And then came the final straw. They were driving home together when the roommate called, saying he'd twisted his ankle. Panic flashed across her face. Without a second thought, she told her husband to get out of the car. She had to go see him. In the pouring rain, the man stepped out and silently watched her speed off. That was the moment he finally understood. He was nothing but a dim star, one she would never notice, not when her sun was shining so brightly beside him. Later that night, he returned home and stared at the wedding photo on the wall, and he realized it wasn't that he had moved on. He had simply come to terms with the truth. Soon after, the roommate showed up again. This time, he threw a divorce agreement on the table. The man signed his name without hesitation, then handed it back, because he knew if he gave her the papers, she might hesitate. But if it came from the roommate, she'd sign it without even looking. Sure enough, when she walked through the door, the roommate handed her the documents. And just as expected, without reading a single word, she signed. The man watched from across the room, a bitter smile on his face.